Hi, my name is Maggie Williams and I'm here for you with the very first video short knowledge clip on user research for designers as part of Module 3 of Year 1. So the first question I want to discuss with you and hopefully answer is, do designers really need user research? Well, famous quote that is often used by Henry Ford. If I ask people what they wanted, they'd have said faster horses. It was not actually said by him, but it's used a lot to indicate that you wouldn't need to ask people what they wanted because they don't know yet what they wanted. Which has also been said by Steve Jobs. You know, people don't know what they want until you show it to them. But well, I'm going to question that to say if that's true, because as a designer, I'm convinced you need to really try and empathize with your users and listen to them. So what would designers need to learn about user research? First of all, without really getting into a whole discussion about stuff, is that if people would say we want faster horses, and you would use the 5 times why technique to say, why do you need faster horses? Maybe people would say, because I want to get from A to B faster. Why do you want to get from A to B faster? Because of such. If you ask the 5 times why technique, maybe again the answer would be that people wanted cheaper cars and not necessarily fast horses. So asking the question what people want needs a certain method or approach to really get to the deeper unmet needs. And Steve Jobs was a well-educated man, so he would know that focus groups as a method are only suitable for evaluating ideas and not for generating ideas. So in that sense also it's a misguided quote. I would love to talk more about that because it's really something that you can get an in-depth discussion about the value of user research, but for now let's continue. And what my proposition statement that I want to share with you and I hope to discuss with you, please let me know, give me your arguments if you disagree. But as a designer open innovator, you should be really curious and interested in learning about your end user. If you really say, well, I know what is right for the world and I have this drive to bring this product or whatever into the world based on my ideas, then you should maybe think about becoming what I would say more of an artist or a guru and not a designer in the sense of an open innovator. But that is really my conviction of how I see real open innovators / designers. And that's really about the design part and not about becoming an entrepreneur. If you want to become successful in business, definitely you can be that self-driven person. But it's also because when you want to be successful in business, you need to not know what people want, but you need to know if you can sell something to people. These pictures are all from Shark Tank. For those who don't know yet, go on to, I don't remember which channel it is, but you can pitch your idea and say how much money you need for how much money into the company, and these people will question you and decide if they give you that money or not. And one of the first questions they ask, can I sell it? And there are even not so great ideas, but if you can sell them, you can become successful in business. But that's really about the business part, so user research, I really see it in the context of becoming a successful designer, open innovator. And you could definitely become a successful business person without user research. But it's about the design. How does it relate to the design process? Where and when do you apply your user research in the design process? Well, then first we need to know which design process. So there are, and I think it's good that in IDE we don't have a very specific prescribed, okay, this is the design process that we use or the method that you always use. And you will learn more about those during the course of implementing business and products. But let's go through a few of them and the role that design plays in them. So the Stanford D-School model has a lot of opportunities for design in it. They start with empathize and define, and that's really about learning about the audience for whom you are designing. So really empathizing with the user. But it's not just in that first phase of the design process, but also later on, prototype and test. As it says, return to your original user group to get feedback. So it's research is all over it. If you look at a more complicated or more expanded model, then it's the Delft model of Buys and Valkenburg is often used, where you go through a cycle, and it's more set in a business environment, because it has more elements like strategic product position, or the market analysis. But also it has the diverging, converging, where there's almost always research involved to really know the steps that you want to take as the search areas. Again, in a different model, which is more maybe in a business environment directed towards product development, there again research plays a role and can be used in different parts. If you look at a different approach, which is not even like a model, but as Open Innovator, we have the 4 I's of itch, insight, ideas, and impact. That, how do you say that? Sum up to create innovation. And there, obviously, in the insight, you can see with the looking glass, it's about generating insight into your users, into their world, where the research is really important, but also again in the impact phase. So so then if we say research is important, then we should also understand some of the different categories of research, and the distinction between the three main different categories of research can be made on the basis of their goal. So descriptive research is aimed at, looking what is happening out there, and just analyzing that, not directly going towards a theory. So, and a good example is market analysis. If you are thinking of developing something for the market of, I don't know, cups. Then you want to know, okay, how many cups are sold in each year? What are the big market players? What is the general, how much money is there? What are the numbers per year that are sold? Is it a seasonal business or is it equal around the year? Just finding out about the market without directly having a theory or a goal in mind. Then you have exploratory research. That is when you are trying to develop a theory. Okay, so in terms of, well, let's go back to the cup. Is how do people experience their drinking moment? How do people relate to their beverages? So if you do the type of research to empathize with the user, that would be exploratory research. And then the third goal of your possible goal of research that defines the category is explanatory, or what's also called hypothetical deductive research, is where you are looking to prove or disprove a theory. And that is really much more closer to the scientific part of research, where you have you make a theory, there is already a theory that have an explanation for a specific phenomenon, and then you make a hypothesis, a research question to test if it works like that. So, but they they are all formulated prior to the research. That's really important, because sometimes during research you get an idea, but then during research you cannot bring in a new hypothesis to test it. It's often done, but in terms of doing the proper research, you formulate your hypothesis before the start of the research and then test it during. So that's the third type of research goal. So, was that clear, the distinction between the three main categories of research? Let's test that. I have a question. If you have a manufacturing company that has a lot of workflow accidents, and they ask you as a researcher to investigate the reason behind those accidents, is that exploratory research, descriptive research, or explanatory research? Do you have your answer? Then let's go to the correct one. It is exploratory. Okay, so you are trying to gather information that gives you the basis on which to develop a theory to reduce the number of exits. So it's not descriptive, just describing doesn't help. It's not explanatory because there is no hypothesis yet. Maybe if based on the story, maybe you already have an idea, but you need to do a real analysis first. So I'm going to skip the next two slides and just go towards the final point. I think research is useful with whichever design process model you use, and in whichever phase of the design process research can be useful. But some research methods and categories of research methods are more suitable to the earlier phases, or what's sometimes called the fuzzy front end, and others more to the later stages. It's mainly user testing. I have an example from the service design minor where we were developing solutions for smart life rhythms. So in the beginning, the students did interviews with the potential users to uncover their deeper needs. What is it that they really want? Where do they need support? Then IDs were developed, and the picture that you see is from iterative testing of different prototypes. One of the things that was very clear, because this is one of the designers from the team, that the users did not recognize that they should put their hands on where the hands are indicated, because they approach it from the front, so they didn't see the hands. So that was a clear learning from the iterative testing. So I've introduced you to the first concepts about research, mainly the three main categories, and try to convince you of the value of research for designers. So I know that maybe some of you will be lost to that case and continue with these kind of one-liners, but I hope we can go deeper into user research, and everybody will be inspired and learn throughout the process, and we can enjoy the course together. That's it for today. I'm looking forward to your feedback on the video so I can improve it during the next run. Thanks. Whoop.